Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. All right, we are back with more news right here on HTV, and we are joined now from Thibodaux. Let's go to the Thibodaux Police Department where Lieutenant Clint Dempster is there. You see him on screen. And once again, we are talking about a shooting in Thibodaux. And Lieutenant, can you bring us up to speed? First of all, good to see you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Martin.
All right, if you could bring us up to speed on what took place. It seemed a little unusual when I was reading it because you don't expect a shooting in this area, but we'll talk more about that as we go on. But if you could give us the parameters of it.
Yeah, so this was, of course, this was Saturday afternoon. Our investigators kind of been working on this around the clock since that time frame. Again, like you said, it is an unusual area for this to occur. Through investigation, it was determined that there was some gunfire in the area, 1000 block of South Acadia Road. Again, that's a highly populated business district for the city. Again, like I said, we through investigation, it appears that it was not a random act, a random shooting in that area. It appears that it was two groups that were targeting each other who just so happened to stumble across each other in that area. No arrests at this time have been made, but detectives are working around the clock and they are making some headway. Limited on information that we can actually release to the public at this time, but they are making, like I said, some good coverage in the investigation, and hopefully we can release some more soon.
Y'all are always relied on the public a little bit too, so I'm sure in these situations, the public can be very valuable to you all. So if they have information or want to come forward, how can they do that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they can always contact us via social media or contact our department. But a lot of people do want to remain anonymous, and they can contact us through our Bayou Region Crime Stoppers. Again, that's for the entire, Bayou region. And a lot of people don't want their identity out there, and want to clam up and don't want to give information because they think that that they're going to be put on blast or something like that. And going this way, that you could be rest assured that won't happen.
Good. I know when we were growing up, when you heard the word gangs and you heard things, that kind of talk, it certainly gave you a heightened response. Of course, in those days, we weren't, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have the readily available social media. Now, I've heard the chief, Brian Zarang, I've heard you say it, I've heard police in this area say it many times, that groups targeting groups, but we're basically talking gangs, and y'all been dealing with that for quite a while in Thibodaux, haven't you?
Yeah. Look, more often than we would like, we've been dealing with it, and unfortunately, it just appears that more oftentimes than not, one incident will lead to another incident in retaliation phases and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, these subjects, they don't always control when and where this happens. So when they do run across the other group or vice versa, unfortunately, sometimes it's in places, like we had this weekend, highly populated areas, broad daylight, things of that sort. And then, you start talking about, not only putting themselves in danger, but as the general public, people's property, businesses, so on and so forth. So, like I said, that's our main priority is to get whoever's held responsible for this shooting. and every other shooting that we have, and you know, get them arrested. And it's an unfortunate situation, but we're doing everything in our power at this point, to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Lieutenant, I know you and the chief, and know the chief well, and I know y'all spend a lot of time trying to reach the youth of the area and trying to tell them, look, we know there's going to be tempers flying. We used to all go to the park. Everybody would gather around and you'd settle it there, and after that, it was sort of over. We didn't bring weapons. If they could just learn how to count to 10 and just take a deep breath and not realize that they're ruining their entire life by bringing that weapon, it would just be a much better place, wouldn't it?
Well, absolutely. And I think that the biggest thing, Martin, is a lot of these young guys, and unfortunately, it's more often than not, you see that it is the youth. We're talking in most cases, in a lot of cases, juveniles. I don't think they understand the consequences that come beyond with these actions that they're taking. And then by the time that they do realize it, it's too late.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, but I know y'all are putting in the time and y'all are trying your best, and I know y'all are putting resources in it, but it also has to start at the home, and it has to start with some guidance outside of the police department. So we appreciate you joining us, Lieutenant. And once again, real quick, if you could tell people, how can they help you in this?
Yeah, so you can either go online or contact by phone our Bayou Region Crime Stoppers, or you can contact our agency here at 446-5021 and speak to one of our detectives or myself, Lieutenant Clint Dempster, and we'll be sure to get your information to the right place. And again, like I said, if you want to remain anonymous, we encourage you to go through our Bayou Region Crime Stoppers.
All right, Lieutenant, thank you so much. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you under better circumstances. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Martin.
All right, we'll be right back with more. Don't go away.